How would you describe Basil?
He's very depressed. And I think that the reason that people feel sympathy or even, it's almost inconceivable, liking for this poor monster is that they sense that he's not in control of his own life. And I once did a kind of quick little popularity poll on the characters, and the most popular character is Manuel. And the kids identify with Manuel amazingly. And I'm sure that's because Manuel's seen as having no control over his life at all.
Good morning. I beg your pardon? Good morning. One moment, please. Did you say good morning? See. I see. Well, what are you going to do now, then? Okay? What you do now? I serve breakfast. Ah, well, let's see you then. See. Where is Dawn? Dawn is gone. Dawn was here. Where, Oh, dear. Oh, good morning, Major. I'm so sorry. I'm afraid the dining room door seems to have disappeared.
Most in control, and in a sense least liked, although perhaps most admired as a performance, is Prue. Because Sybil seems to be running the show. And so there's not much spare sympathy, which is, I think that's quite interesting. It tells us a lot about how people respond to other people, that it's helplessness that really makes us feel good about them, you know. And if they can look after themselves, we don't like them.
Sorry to bother you. I thought I'd better apologise for my husband's behaviour.
No, please, really, Mrs. Fawlty.
He's going through rather a disturbed time at the moment.
No, please, look, I don't quite understand. He does seem a bit worked up about something, but I'm sure there's some quite innocent explanation.
Basil?
Hi, dear. Just checking the doors.
All right, what's going on?
I was in the bathroom.
Yes, she was, dear. So I just popped in to have a look at these hinges, you know, the ones we need.
Do you really imagine, even in your wildest dreams, that a girl like this could possibly be interested in an aging, brilliantine stick insect like you?
In Fawlty Towers, Connie and I used to spend enormous quantities of time on the plot. I mean, most people will write a half hour in 10 days top whack, and a lot of them will tell you, provided there's nobody from the company employing them around, they write them in a week. Well, Connie and I used to take 6 weeks of Fawlty Towers, and we just started with this huge sheet of paper. They always used to write, because there was never room to get everything in. We used to write, they get that drawing paper. Yeah. And we'd start writing one or two things down, like an idea at the beginning and maybe an idea in the middle. And we would go through it and have other ideas we put off at the side. And ever so slowly, over 2 weeks, a plot would be constructed.
Was there any time when you were writing them that you said to yourself, oh, that's the way, that's the formula, that's the sort of way we do it?
No, not a formula. There were certain things we took pride in. Yeah. I was thinking as you were saying that. We always took pride in trying not to let the audience guess what was going to happen. And we realized the way around that was that in most comedy, the plot comes plot, and you can spot that a bit of plot has been put in. So whenever we were getting plot points across or establishing something that was absolutely necessary to lead on to the final direction of the story, we would always make it as funny as possible, so that people thought it had been put in because it was funny. But at the same time, they would absorb the point. The plot point.
You keep talking about the plot, but there are several plots, half a dozen.
Yes,
where you have
right.
5 or 6 adventures setting out. And
when
then
you try and get 2 or 3, we used to
get
get 2 or 3, sometimes 4, but probably 2 or 3 threads. And then at a particular point, they come together. Yeah. And then they start playing off each other. And they may not just come together and run. They may sort of come together and overlap a little bit, and then 2 and 3 may touch, and then 3 and 1 may touch. But basically, they start separate on separate tracks and then start weaving. And of course, the best ones are where they all come together right at the end, like with Mrs. Richards, the deaf person, which I watched with my daughter about a week ago. It's very satisfactory, all the things that have been set up. When he finally has to tell her that the money is his, and he turns to Manuel, you know, and he says, just tell her the money's mine. And Manuel says, I know nothing. Which Basil told him to say 20 minutes before. You know, it's just the satisfaction of it all just touching it, just at the end.
You remember I had some money yesterday, the money I won on the horse. Ah, she. Yes. Tell Mrs. Richards. Tell her I had the money yesterday. I know nothing. I know nothing. Nothing.
No, forget that.
No, I forget everything. I know nothing.
No, you can tell her. You can tell her.
I cannot.
Yes, sir, tell her, Paul. Tell her, please. Tell her.
You just see the poor guy being put into more and more uncomfortable and terrible situations the whole time. Connie and I would laugh till the tears ran down our face, but we would always ache for him, because, you know, we were really like two gods. We were writing this man's life and making it absolutely awful. He never had a chance.
Right.
I'm going to give it a shirt off my back, too. See, I know nothing. I'm going to send you to a vivisectionist. Now.
But the funny thing is, I did realize this years ago, that it's no good having somebody behaving crazily. What is much, much funnier is watching somebody, watching someone who is behaving crazily.
Good afternoon, Mr. Fawlty.
Good afternoon.
You got a Mrs. Richards staying here?
I like physical acting. I think sometimes if you can do something with a movement of the back or the head or something like that, or even a facial expression, it's always funnier than something verbal. It goes in deeper, at a deeper level. I have been complimented on my gestures by the chief psychiatrist at Broadmoor. So.
We found her money.
Where?
Well, it doesn't matter. £10 up on the deal.
£10?
Yes, it's 95. Even if I give her 10, I'm still 10 up. Bully, for the first time in my life, I'm winning. Hello, Mrs. Richards. How lovely to see. Your beautiful vase that you bought yesterday has just arrived. Now, remind me, the money that you have there, is it yours or mine?
I told you, it's mine.
You're absolutely sure?
Yes, I am.
But you're still £10 short?
Yes.
Boy, give Mrs. Richards this, would you?
What's that?
This is mine.
What's that, Basil?
I think the strength of Fawlty Towers was the scripts and the plot and the amount of time we put into them. And they are logically consistent. And there's also a lot in them because there was so much time spent in them. And that's what I'm most proud of.